You know how I know we're back is there hasn't been construction upstairs in like, I don't know, like 5 weeks. And today it's just drills and hammers and everything.
Perfect. Everything is as it should be.
Yep.
It's perfect timing for me too, because I just got sick yesterday. So
oh, nice.
What a better time to start podcasting again. This has just been like the year of, well, for me at least, the year of health issues.
Dude, seriously. Yeah. Oh, did you figure out if you're going blind or not?
I went to the doctor because my insurance doesn't let me to go to an ophthalmologist unless I just go to a regular doctor first.
Oh.
So I had to go to the regular doctor, and he basically was like, wow, you've had it for 5 months, huh? That's pretty crazy. You should go to an ophthalmologist.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I should.
Oh, my God.
So he was like, I'll get you a referral, and it takes a while, so they'll probably contact you with an appointment sometime. So I'm just going blind over here waiting for a call from an ophthalmologist.
Oh, my God.
He gave me this goop to put in my eyeballs. So I've been putting goop in my eyeballs.
Does it help?
And no.
Oh, my gosh.
No. It just kind of burns and makes my vision blurry. So I think I'm going to stop using it.
Oh, my gosh. That was like the same thing when my knee thing happened. They were like, oh, yeah, you need to see a specialist. And then I had to go to my primary care physician, and then they had to refer me to someone at the hospital, and then they had to refer me to like a knee specialist. And then by that time, it was like I was like $600 in before I even talked to the right person. It's so stupid.
Yeah. Gosh.
And then they were like,
it's
they were
real
like,
annoying.
Yeah, you might need a knee replacement when you're older, but for now, it's probably not worth it. So I'm like, perfect, great. That's
Oh
that's
my
great.
gosh, yeah. Yeah, that's brutal. Which also makes me glad that we switched to audio-only podcasting, because once I go blind, it's going to be a lot harder to set up shots. So this is better.
You better not go blind, dude. How will that would not be good? I think you're going to be okay. I was hesitant to laugh when I said, did you find out if you're going blind? Because I was like, what if he found out he is going blind? I'm just, then you'd really see life from a new perspective.
Oh my gosh. No, my catchphrase.
It'll work out. It's amazing what modern medicine is capable of. They got this goop you can put in your eyes that just makes it burn.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Oh my gosh. How's New York summer?
It's not quite summer yet.
Oh.
It's been raining a bunch.
Oh, okay. Mr. Downer.
I'm sick and I'm going blind, dude. What do you want from me?
Sick, going blind. It's been raining. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Sorry. How's the rain?
How's the rain? The rain is great. I don't have an umbrella.
Okay, that one's pretty easy to solve.
Well, I had an umbrella. And then my friend borrowed it, and now I don't have an umbrella anymore.
Dang. Wow. Jeez Louise. You also don't I don't have an umbrella anymore or a friend.
Yeah. Ever since the podcast ended, it's just been all downhill for me.
Just quietly going blind in your apartment alone for 4 months. Okay, well, this is gonna be,
man.
What an incredible return to form. This is what the people have been waiting for. You want to know where it went? I'll tell you where it went. It went down the drain, along with everything else.
Are we podcasting yet? Did we start? forgot how hard this is to get back into. Also, it just became so hot in here because I turned off my fan for noise. But
it's almost like summer's coming.
I'm just gonna live with it. I'm just gonna be sweaty.
Okay.
How's your summer?
Oh, dude, it's not summer yet. Come on, you know that. Yeah, it's been like, I think we have like one warm day for every 9 windy cold days. But that's like a big improvement because earlier it was 0 warm days for every 10 windy cold days. So it's heating up a little bit. We were going to do the first bike night tonight, the first town bike night, but it's like not quite nice enough and a lot of people are out of town. But next week is like everyone gets back into town. It's going to be nice. So next week bike night starts, then it'll really be summer. And then, what was the other thing I was going to say about that? I forgot. So anyway. I remember. So I don't remember if you saw these when you were here. I'm sure you noticed, but town has all these like ditches that run through because Gunnison is kind of like a high mountain. They call it a high mountain desert. There's not like naturally a lot of trees or anything. And so they have to irrigate a bunch of water into town for there to be like grass and trees and stuff. So there are these ditches that run through town that are called the freshman ditches because when college starts and it snows, the freshmen don't know they exist. And so when they're walking around town, they'll fall in and break their ankles.
Oh man.
Yeah. So like
in the snow?
Yeah, because the snow will cover them.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How do they? Huh. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
how
like
do they break their ankles in them?
They're like usually like 1.5 feet deep, and the snow will cover them just enough that you can't really tell.
Yeah,
and so you'll be like running somewhere,
but not enough for your like whole body to fall.
Right.
In them.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So, but anyway, they turn the freshman ditches on in May, and so it irrigates the town, and then all the like leaves start to bloom on the trees and the grass grows and everything. But they have it's very cute and it's kind of sad. They have a party for when they turn the ditches on. And so 2 days ago it was like extra windy and cold, and it was the day they turned the ditches on. So there's like 30 people outside like, woohoo.
How do you turn on a ditch?
I don't know. Well, like the town turns them on because it goes from the river, and then they basically like open the gate, and then all the river water comes in. And so there's like one spot in downtown where it's like really obvious, and so they'll like camp out like on Main Street and wait till water comes into the ditch, and then they all go, hooray! And then everyone goes home.
Dang. It sounds so wholesome.
It is wholesome, and it's kind of like this year was a little sad because everyone was bundled up and they're like, yeah, summer's here.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
freezing out.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's been good.
I'm so sorry. Hold on one second.
And he's gone.
We should start before, or have we started?
Yeah, wait. Yeah, true.
Yeah, we should start before I tell any stories.
Okay.
But you just told a great story.
Dang, maybe we did start. I don't know. Start now.
Well, okay. Start now. Why is this so hard? Oh,
and
man.
Now.
This kind of feels like... It feels like... Hold on. I got a great analogy brewing. Just give me like 15 minutes.
Podcast.
Oh, this kind of feels like that moment where you're like really good at going to the dentist. You had good rapport with your dentist. You always flossed. And then stuff happened. Life got busy. And next thing you know, it's been 7 years and you haven't been to the dentist. And then you go to the dentist and they kind of passive aggressively like take you to your chair and sit you down and ask you if you've been flossing.
Yeah.
This is just like that.
That is just like that. Last time I did that, they said you have 3 months to live.
Oh, yeah. Wow. That also might have been when we ended the podcast.
That's true.
Was
That's
right
also
around
how
when
this
that was
feels.
happening.
That's also how this feels. It feels like we probably got 3 months in us. And then it's over again.
3 months. No, 3 months is only like 12 episodes. We got a good 51 we got to do.
Oh, we have that
we got
many
a good
left?
I think so. I think we have a good year of podcasting left before we can retire.
Wow. This feels like and I've never done this, but I'm sure, where you're like training for a marathon and you're like really starting to get in the swing of things, and then you break your ankle in a freshman ditch and then you have to like wait, and then you lose like all the progress you had, and you realize like to run the marathon you still have to do like all that work over again. That's what I learned from Eric Floberg.
Yeah, man, I learned a lot from that man.
Me too. He's a good guy.
I just checked. We have 58 to go, so we have more than a year.
Louise. Oh my god!
But the good news is we lost a few subscribers, so we're not at 1,000. So that's good.
The effort it takes to
still
go on to like log on to the forsaken, empty, abandoned page and click the unsubscribe button. It's like I almost admire the decisive, like, I do not fuck with this anymore.
I think those are probably the kind of people that actually have a clean subscription page, you know?
Yeah.
And they like care about it and follow it, and
yeah, that's true. And they're looking at our page and there's only 2 guys that could make this house a home.
But they've moved out.
Yeah, it's quiet here. And then they dust a cobweb off the corner.
Man, do you want to, fill the people in on the last year? I feel like we have a lot of explaining to do.
The only thing I want to say about the last year is we did record 2 episodes. We did not have the energy to post them. But
2? It felt more like 5.
Maybe it was. Oh yeah, no, we did 2 in a day at one point.
Yeah, we did a couple while we were in Spain. We did 1 or 2 when I was in Gunnison.
Dude, that was a lifelong path. So much has changed. And we've gotten way less interesting too. That's the other thing. Like, we were recording podcasts in Spain and everything. That is not going to happen again. That ship has sailed.
We're not traveling the world anymore. We're not even filming videos anymore. We're just a couple of voices in the void. But the truth is, like, okay, Shaffer told me not to say this, but I'm pretty pissed about it. So
God, what's coming now?
I'm saying it anyway. It's basically Braxton's fault.
Oh,
Braxton was
come
like,
on, you can't do this.
Dude, he got a big head. He basically, listen, maybe he was right, but he just kept saying all of your success is because of me. And he was demanding pay raises. He took the channel hostage for a while.
He changed the password to the account.
He changed the password.
That's true. He did do that. I didn't want you to say that for some reason, but that's so true.
And the production level is also
Braxton stole our camera.
suffering. Oh, right.
and he was like, now you'll never be able to podcast. And we said, we got a little trick up our sleeve, Braxton. It's called audio only.
Yeah, except Braxton didn't steal my camera. He only stole my lenses, which is why I'm still recording this audio into my FX3. Not because I don't know how to record audio any other way, but just because Braxton stole everything.
Wait, what is that called? XLR Zoom audio recorder.
Yeah, but I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Either
we'll put that on the list of things I
probably just don't know how to use it.
This is what we don't talk about the XLR recorder on the podcast. We don't talk about there's another thing that I'm not supposed to talk about on the podcast. Can't remember. But that makes the
Braxton.
list. Oh.
Wait, no, that's what I'm not supposed to talk about.
I just remember two things I'm not supposed to talk about on the podcast, but I'm not supposed to talk about them.
Oh, okay.
3 was Braxton stealing the channel, but
Right.
All right, brother. What do you want to talk? What do you want to talk about?
Man,
let's do this thing. All right, we're gonna start now.
Oh, now we're starting.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Welcome back to Friends with Benedicts, breakfast around the world.
That's right. Welcome back.
Well,
I know what we can talk about. I just don't have a smooth transition, but I think that ship is fully sailed at this point.
What do you want to talk about, Shafe? You want to talk about Camp Film Festival?
Well, so far we've talked about all the things that we can't talk about on the podcast. So maybe now we talk about the Camp Film Festival. And then imagine if there was a video, if we still did video podcasts, there would be like an animation that had like stars and a red carpet rollout. And there was a whole like sequence that said Camp Chat. And there was a song that went along with it. But we don't do that anymore. So just imagine it. Imagine something super high budget, super high production. That's what we wanted to do, but Braxton got selfish.
Yeah. Do you want to give us some lore? Do you want to give us some backstory on the history of Creator Camp?
Creator Camp was founded in 2015 by Wholesome Simon and I think a guy named Chris, and then also I think a guy named Derek.
Max, but close.
Yes,
similar to Derek.
Yes, Derek,
and Reisinger.
Max, Derek, and Chris, and Simon thought, you know what? We're done not having a film festival. We are over it. And over the course of the next 10 years, they would work with Jack Conti, who's the guy that started Patreon, and he's also the guy that couldn't get Casey Neistat to like Patreon. And they got together and they said, YouTube is so online, and we need Jake to give us a breakdown of how running is involved in filmmaking. And so they invited Jake to the Camp Film Fest as a guest speaker to talk about running with Eric Floberg. Luckily, Eric knew a lot more about running than Jake. So it all went really smooth. And I wound up going to the Camp Film Fest. I wasn't going to, but I had a trip get canceled, and so I booked a last minute plane, like truly last minute. Like I sprinted, no exaggeration, not like metaphorically sprinted. Like I live close to the airport and I sprinted to the airport. I was all packed for a camping trip and I went through security with a propane tank in my backpack. And TSA said, you can go see Jake talk about running out of Film Fest, but you can't bring propane. And I said, okay, TSA. And so they took my propane tank. And then I went to the Camp Film Fest. And I went, and Jake didn't know I was going. I called him saying I was going to go, but he was at the airport. And then I thought, no, he shouldn't know. And so then I texted Nathaniel Drew, and then I stayed with Nathaniel Drew and his little brother Sky. I thought their last name was Drew, so I called him Sky Drew. Drew is Nathaniel's middle name. So me, Sky Drew, and Nathaniel Drew went to the film fest, and then I met up with Jake. And then Derek, Simon, Max, and Chris gave Jake a standing ovation. The end. And Jack Conti bought Apple.
Whoa, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Dang, great lore, Shaffer.
Thank you. Do you have any lore you'd like to add?
Thanks for the history lesson. Well, I was trying to think. You might have been the first person in my entire life to legitimately surprise me. Like,
that's a big honor.
Yeah, like I've never had a surprise party. I've never been blindfolded for something. I've never
we got to change that.
That's all of the surprises I can think of.
I don't think I've ever been either.
I've never been kidnapped and put on a plane and not told where I'm going and just ended up somewhere before.
That would be so hard to pull off.
Yeah, that would. Oh, yeah. You'd have to blindfold their ears too.
Yeah, and you'd have to blindfold the flight attendant.
Wait, why?
Or the person at the gate. Wait, you wouldn't have to blindfold them. No, sorry. You would just have to tell them.
You'd have to kidnap the flight attendant, beat the shit out of them,
right.
Put them in the bottom of the plane.
Right. And when you're waiting for the gate and they're like, the flight to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma is now boarding.
Yeah.
You have to go.
That's why I said you got to blindfold their ears. The person you're surprising.
Right.
You don't have to stop the announcements from happening. You just have to stop your victim from hearing them.
Oh, right.
But that would be imagine having to go through the airport and not being able to see or hear.
That would be absolutely. It's awful enough when you can see and hear. You don't want to Helen Keller.
Yeah. Yeah, I want nothing to do with airports at all.
I totally agree. Well, luckily.
Speaking of which.
Well, luckily we got. Well.
Did you did you hear about the Newark airport disaster?
Oh God, no! I've heard about a lot of airport disasters, though.
I know. Well, and you and I have both. I feel like we both are in and out of Newark often.
Yeah.
Or at least we were.
Yeah.
But, dude, they had air traffic control radars and communication go out completely for like a minute and a half.
Oh my God.
And so there was pilots just like circling, being like, yo, what do we do?
Oh my God. Dude, we got a name for that where I'm from. We call that Monday.
Yeah, it turns out it was just because it was someone trying to surprise their fiance with a trip, so they
Yeah.
so they kidnapped air traffic control and shut down the radars to make sure
I love the
make
idea.
sure their fiance didn't know where they were going.
I love the idea of the guy that's trying to surprise their fiance with a surprise trip, and he just like didn't figure out all the details, so he's kind of winging it. And he like blindfolds the flight attendant. He's like, I think I have to do this. Just go with me on it. He goes up to the front and he's like, please don't make any announcements. And they're like, we have to make announcements. He's like, trust me, I got this all figured out. But he has none of it figured out. That's my kind of romance.
Yeah, he decides that the only way to secure his surprise is just completely shutting down the entire airport.
Yeah. Dang,
what was
crazy.
I talking about?
Newark getting shut down for a whole ass minute.
Yeah, but it was to serve a greater purpose.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Creator Camp.
My first
Camp.
surprise. My first surprise ever. So for yeah, I've kind of gotten to know some of the Creator Camp dudes in New York and got kind of connected to, it's pretty connected worlds, like because a bunch of the Creator Camp used to throw, and still does, I think, or is going to throw retreats, like creator retreats or whatever. And I feel like once you meet one person that's been on those retreats, it just becomes this web, and
Cool.
It's like this whole Marvel universe of internet creators. But anyway, I had slowly started getting connected to
Derek,
that web
mostly.
in New York. Yeah, mostly Derek, because of Derek. And then got invited to do a little breakout session. Well, actually, they invited me to make a short film, and I was like, damn, that's not very much time, and I don't have any good ideas, so I'm not going to do it. And now in retrospect, I'm really bummed I didn't just like pull
Go
it
for
together
it,
and make something really quick. But that's okay. So I got invited to like speak at a little breakout session. But so I'm in the green room with Eric, prepping for this breakout workshop, and for no particular reason, I had zero reason to believe that Shaffer would be there, and might be the last person I would expect to see there. And literally like 2 minutes before I'm about to go on stage, I'm so nervous because I hate public speaking, and there's just a lot more people there than I thought there was going to be. And like 2 minutes before I go on stage, Shaffer pops into the room and surprised me for the first time in my entire life. But
it was sick. Well, it was perfect timing too, because I was looking for you, and I was hanging out with Sky Drew, and we were like, I was getting introduced to all his friends and everything, and we had to like walk over from the other theater, which is like a 15-minute walk, and it took us forever to get there. And I was like, Jake's thing has started, and by the time I got there, it had already like been quote unquote started for like 15 minutes or something. So I was like, oh, it's not. And then, yeah, I mean, there is a lot of lore here. Basically, yeah, I kind of made the joke earlier, but for a while, just because I am a arrogant, misinformed piece of shit, I thought Creator Camp was a cult or a pyramid scheme. And I had previously shared some of my hypotheses online on my channel membership, and then Simon, who's friends with Derek, who's one of the the co-founders, he heard about my hypotheses, and so then anyway, I kind of felt like as soon as I showed up, I had 5 stars on GTA. I was like, I should not be here. And then, yeah, so anyway, I run into Simon at your thing right before. I'd never met him before in my life. And then I run into him like right before you're about to go on. And I just immediately am like, and at this point we've already done like some of the films, and there like a breakout session or something that had already happened, and I had been completely sold on Creator Camp over the course of like 30 minutes. I was like, God, I've never been more wrong about something in my life. And so I saw Simon, I was like, dude, I am so sorry. He's like, no, don't worry about it. Jake's in the back. You want to go see him? And I was like, well, I do, but I also really want to spend like some time apologizing because I feel really bad. But he's like, no, it's good. And so then, Simon, the guy who I accused of being a cult leader, was the one that let me go backstage to see you. So it's a very it was a very surreal moment. And so many, it was like, dude, those like that 10-minute block was like one of the craziest 10 minutes of my entire, probably over the last, well, I don't know, I've had some crazy moments in the last couple of years, but this year is the craziest moment of my year so far. Meeting Simon, realizing how wrong I was about everything, having to own up to it, being let backstage, meeting Eric Floberg at the same time as saying, good luck, Jake. And then, yeah, it's just an insane, it was a wild ride.
Yeah, it sure was. And
now I'm friends with everybody, and nature has healed.
Yeah, nature has fully healed. Yeah, and I think you might be exaggerating a bit, saying that you thought they were a cult and and all of that, because
it's hyperbole.
I think you were, well, yeah. I think you were you're just skeptical, which, honestly, if there's one thing you should be on the internet, is skeptical. So
yeah, I just like
nothing.
Yeah, that's true. That is an exaggeration, because my main thesis was, you see like the creator houses explode all the time, and it just felt like another
like
instance
an iteration
of that.
of
Yeah,
that.
it's just like you see a pattern with that type of thing. So that was like pretty much as. And also, like, up until that point, like, nothing had really come of it other than talking about all the things that were going to come of it. You know what I mean? And so it was, like, easy to be like, well, you got to do something, too. You can't just all go hang out with each other. You have to make some stuff. But I think that was when I was, like, really like, oh, this is legit. Because the short films and the movie were so good. I mean, it was just like any film festival. Like, there were weak points for sure. But then it was funny because some of my stuff I like the least, like, I think my least favorite of the whole festival was Eric's favorite. So it was just cool. It was like they actually made stuff that was like I don't know, you could have differing opinions on it, you could have conversations about it afterwards, and like they freaking did it. So I felt bad because I was like, geez, I know what it's like to be online and just feel like there are people against your vision and people that just don't get it. And I was like, I never thought I'd like be that guy in this situation, but I was indeed that guy in this situation. So,
man, well, it's sick how it came together, because it was just like so cool and so fun having you there, plus all of these people that I've started to get to know in that Creator Camp network, and like it just really felt like the future that I want and the future that I hope is what becomes the future of our little YouTube worlds. Because like, man, when this is such a cliche at this point, but when you make a video and it gets 500 views and maybe you're bummed about that number, but then you sit in a theater with 1,000 people, it's just electric. It's like, this is what 1,000 people feels like. This is crazy. I remember, Eric and I were prepping to give our little speech, and, leading up to it, we were talking with the Creator Camp people, and they were like, yeah, we're kind of worried about ticket sales. We haven't sold as many as we want yet and all this. So me and Eric were just kind of like, yeah, it might be a little sparse, but that's okay. It'll be fun. And Eric and I showed up into the main Paramount Theater like as the first short film was starting. So we're like walking into the theater as it's just erupting with applause for the first theater, and it was like full on stomach drop chills moment, because we sat in the very, very back because there was no seats available. And it was just like very surreal to realize that they did it. They sold it out. It was packed with people.
And people weren't like, I don't know what the right adjective is here. Like, they weren't, bored is like not the right word, but like they weren't apathetic. Like, people were hyped all weekend. Like, it was a non-stop weekend, and people were stoked the whole time. It's not people who are like,
totally.
oh yeah, I'm like kind of having fun. This is like, everyone was like, I don't think anyone in that room didn't feel like it wasn't worth the money. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, granted, that's coming from someone who didn't pay, but...
No. You paid.
That's
you paid
true.
A hefty price.
That's true. I did. I paid for a last-minute flight, which was not that cheap. But yeah, it was. It was a super fun. It was super fun. I had an insane amount of fun. Also, just meeting like a bunch of friends with Benedicts listener. The amount of people who would just, if they saw me, they go, "When's the podcast coming back?" I'd be like, "Oh, you're one of the 200, huh?" They were all there.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, it was interesting how, like you said, how much energy there was, because when I go to events like that, I usually just get so burnt on socializing, because that just, it wears me out. I enjoy socializing, but it wears me out. And this event, like, I don't know, I was just amped on like going to everything possible and hanging with people after stuff.
That was a super common sentiment. People are like, I am not an extrovert, but somehow I'm still going. And I think it was because everyone was like, it's cool to be in a room where you have something in common with everyone. You know, you couldn't start talking to someone and be like, oh, we have nothing in common. It was really sick.
Totally. Especially when we're so used to being alone in what we do, or at least not having anyone that kind of gets it, you know? There's just so many weird, random, unique problems that come with making stuff on the internet that like most people just aren't going to get. And there is something about being surrounded by people that just kind of understand that or have that same drive and interest.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty powerful thing. So I'm a big fan. I feel like I wasted time trash talking it when I could have been hanging with Derek in Bozeman talking about the future of filmmaking.
Well, that's okay. You're in now. You're in the cult now. I don't know, man. I'm like, if I was in their position, you're on probation.
Yeah, I'm on probation. Yeah, exactly.
You're in the cult, but you're on probation.
I'm the secretary.
Well, yeah, and then after all of that, you're like, you make amends. You go to creator camp. It's this come to Jesus moment. It's all good. And then the first thing you do when you get home is make a tier list of the people you met. And I'm here in New York with half the people on the tier list, and they're like, "Yo, did you see Shaffer made a tier list?" And they're like, where were you on the tier list? I don't know. Where I was on the tier list? Where did I land on the tier list?
That's so funny. I was like, wow, I've really made progress. How can I backslide on all the progress? I just went. I was like, well, I gotta be careful with that membership, because I'm always like, oh yeah, this will be funny for like my people, but like now YouTube will recommend the thumbnail if you've ever watched one of my videos. So all of a sudden, everyone's
dude,
getting
word spread fast about that tier list.
I did have it like, I did plan it in advance where I was like, oh, this is gonna be like, you know, entirely wholesome and positive, but I'm gonna definitely clickbait it like it's not.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Did anyone hate me because of my tier list?
Yeah, most of them.
Shoot. All right, cool. We're back to where we started.
No. It was great. It was a good tier list. It was such a hilarious watch. I feel like I remember one of the top comments was like, "This is the most unhinged thing you've ever done," or something like that.
Dude, I got more in me, man. I got some ideas. That are just like, we don't need to do that.
I believe it, man. I believe it.
One of these days I'm gonna fly too close to the sun. I'm gonna get seriously burnt.
God, if you haven't been flying too close to the sun yet, I don't want to know what that looks like. Yeah, now that you roasted my lack of running knowledge, which is perfectly accurate. I don't know anything about.
That's not a roast. That's a fact.
But I will say,
I don't know anything about running. I don't know nothing about running. So
I'll bet you know one thing. I'll bet you know this same fact that I know, because I was talking with Eric, trying to be relatable, bringing up whatever I knew about running. And the one thing I did know about running was, like, for the longest time, people thought breaking, I think it was a 5-minute mile. I think people thought breaking a 5-minute mile was impossible. And then, like, finally one person did it, and they're only person to do it in the year. And then the next year, like, 20 people broke it or something like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like this Camp Film Festival was a similar type of event where it feels like there's this huge, massive barrier for us YouTube people to make something worthy of the big screen, or to make a feature film or something like that. And then we all watched Two Sleepy People, written by Baron Ryan, DP'd by Ethan Uncurated, I think co-written by Caroline something.
Yeah, they
wrote it. Their film that they finished in 100 days, watching it felt like that sub 5-minute mile moment of like, oh my gosh, this is possible.
Yeah.
Like, this is very possible. And especially, I think you said this at the fest, but what was so fun about watching it was, it was really, really good. It was such an interesting story, so captivating, such a fun movie. And it didn't feel discouraging. It didn't feel like, oh my gosh, how did they do this? I have no chance of doing something like this. It felt like, oh, this is doable.
Totally. And I also felt like watching it was cool because it didn't, like, I know there's a whole world of this. I know that, like, Mubi exists, and there's, like, a ton of, like, low budget films and stuff. But that was the first time I actually sat down and gave my attention to an hour and 40-minute low budget film. And it feels so good to watch something that doesn't feel like Coca-Cola bought it. It feels so good to, like, there were flaws in it for sure, but, like, it made it better, you know? And I hadn't, like, experienced that really yet. So that was cool too.
Totally. Yeah, man, I feel like I just have to remind myself this all the time. And you and I think, talked about this recently, but when you care about filmmaking and making things look nice, you kind of forget how good humanity feels, or how good imperfection feels watching something. And it's just such a good reminder that stuff looking too good or being too perfect is like a turnoff, if anything.
Totally.
Like, especially now, like more than ever, that humanity just feels so good.
No, it's something I just wrote on my blog. on my one post blog, ashcroftcub.com. I wrote.
Oh, I didn't know you had a blog.
Yeah, I just started. I'm doing a monthly video pics of just videos I like.
Sick.
But one of the things I wrote on the blog, www.ashcroftcb.com, was like clinical, like really good looking stuff, like great cinematography, great lighting. Now, the way I describe it is it rhymes with AI. It visually rhymes.
Yeah.
And you're not going to be able to, like, you can't go back from that. I have become so much less interested in cinematography over the last 5 months because it just rhymes with AI. Like you get that like Mid-Journey look or whatever, and it's just like insanely cinematic, but still just like uncanny and weird and too perfect. And now I see that, and I'll see something that's like lit really well, or like Instagram, you know, all those like gaffers will come up or whatever, or DPs will come up in your recommended thing, and I'll see something that looks really good, and I'll just go, oh, no, it's not. Bummer. Like I don't see it the same anymore. Kind of weird.
Which is so it's so true and so hard for me to swallow, because like, man, I love that stuff. You know, I love making an image look good. It's such a like inherently fun process to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to balance that moving forward, because
I think you can still make it look good. I think it's
for
just
sure.
like it just looks good in a different way, you know? Like it's not good the same way the movie Her looks good. It's good the way the movie Quick Shaffer, access your backlog of movies.
All of those movies you've seen.
All those movies you watch. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Looks.
Why are you referencing Her? Because that is a beautiful movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And then you were looking for a not beautiful movie for your second reference?
No, I was trying to think of something that looks really good, but it doesn't look good the way Her looks good. Her looks good like looks like super AI at this juncture. Or not that it looks AI. Gotcha. I just think it's got the most AI adjacent look.
Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
But then I'm trying to think of something that like looks really good but is kind of not clinical, and I can't. All I can think of.
127 hours.
I was gonna say that, but I lean on that that's all I know. That's the only movie.
Okay. Slumdog Millionaire.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, Slumdog Millionaire, also a Danny Boyle movie. Anything Danny Boyle does. Well, honestly, 28 years later looks like it's gonna be like that. I mean, it was filmed on a phone, but you can like it still looks really good because they use like insane cinema lens rigging, but you can still tell there's a lack of dynamic range, and it still looks real good. Safdie
Brothers movies. That's the good reference. Good Time, Uncut Gems.
Oh, yeah, okay. I haven't seen any of those.
The Curse, which is a TV show, but yeah, The Curse. The Curse is a great example. I mean, maybe this is kind of a side tangent.
That's a Nathan Fielder thing, isn't it?
Yeah, Nathan Fielder, Emma Stone, and the Safdie brothers. But they intentionally wanted it to feel very unsettling, because a lot of it's about like how people act in different scenarios, like how people act when someone's watching them versus not being watched. So anyway, a bunch of the shots were very like voyeuristic from behind a bush or something like that, and they cranked the ISO intentionally super high on a bunch of shots because they wanted digital noise, because they wanted it to feel out of place and human and whatever. And whoever it was, Paramount, almost didn't approve it.
Wow.
They're like, no, this needs to be proper film settings, needs to be 4K crisp, sharp, all of this. And Safdie brothers stuck to it. They're like, no, this needs to be noisy and bad looking.
Wow.
And thank goodness whoever the decision maker was trusted them and let them stick with it. Because, that's just such a sick decision to make.
Dude, that is really... Well, it even reminds me of when we were at that Film Fest thing. We went to a talk by Quentin Tarantino's friend. That's the best. Some guy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I
yeah,
know.
Who wrote
not...
Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, I know.
None of us know his name, sadly. Leonard something.
Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Fiction.
Leonard Fiction was saying, he was like, yeah, now's the time. Like, now that the technology is accessible, he's like, I'm surprised there hasn't been more people experimenting with not shooting 24 frames per second. And he was basically just like, now's the time to just try stuff. Like, do whatever you want. There's no rules right now. And yeah, that's what I think. That's what I mean. It's like it's not gonna look like a traditional Hollywood cinematic movie, or that'll still exist or whatever. I just am so much more drawn now to stuff where I'm like, oh, that's interesting, as opposed to like, wow, that's perfectly done, because I could generate that shit in 5 seconds.
Totally. Yeah, totally.
It's weird, huh? It's like kind of like It's kind of like It's kind of like almost like maybe the imperfections are kind of what make you human.
Wow. Dang, you should write that down. That's beautiful.
Thank you. It really makes you think, though.
What got us onto that? Because
I don't know.
I had such a beautiful, profound thought.
You were talking about the running thing, the minute mile.
Oh, whoa, that feels
that
like
was
a
long
year
time ago.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. Oh. I would love to hear the story, though, of how you met Zach Shy.
Yeah. Ugh, that was brutal. You gotta make me relive that, huh? You go take me back to that dark time.
It's one of the best stories I've heard in a while.
I'll tell it really quick. I feel like I've been yapping, but so I feel like Zach was kind of like one of the people I was most looking forward to meeting, because he shot his short film on film. I knew just from talking to some other people that were like kind of either helped with the production or whatever, that they had some troubles with it. So I was excited to talk to him. Also, like, his stuff, I think like all of us probably, it's like one of those accounts that just pops up by, you're recommended all the time, because he makes these like super surreal scenes and stuff. And so I knew exactly who he was before I saw his film, and then when I saw his film, I was like, gotta talk to this guy. But I was, I'm human. I was intimidated because I was like, he's famous, and so finally tracked him down. Also, didn't really know what he actually really looked like, because anyway, I said I'd tell this fast, and I'm thinking of every unnecessary detail I could possibly. Anyway, I finally find him, and we're outside the LZR theater, which is where Jake gave his big show. And outside they have the big debut, the big running, where
I could finally share my passion for running.
Yeah. And so they have like this turf grass patio, which is kind of a weird combo of things. Patio, turf grass, what? Anyway.
Yeah. Like elevated off the ground too, like very much man-made, fake,
where grass
synthetic.
Would never dare to be.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's nice turf grass, and I also happen to know that turf grass, especially nice turf grass, is not cheap. It's not expensive. So we're standing on the turf grass thing. I finally find him. I give him the old tap on the shoulder, like a non-creepy person, like bing bong, hello. And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, so we start talking about film and everything. It's going really good. Like, per standard of my general interaction with another human being, it's going pretty good. Even though I did intro it with tapping him on the shoulder. We never had like an awkward handshake or high five or whatever. It was going really well, and the whole weekend I was fighting off a headache. I never got one, but I always was almost about to get a headache. So I was drinking tons of water and going to the bathroom every 15 seconds. It was crazy. But I was holding my I was holding my emotional support cup of water, and while he was talking, I casually, like a normal person, decided to take a sip. And I just started straight up choking, like can't breathe, choking, like, and I'm standing right in front of him. I'm like, and so I'm like, okay, play it cool. And so I cough up this nasty shit into my emotional support water cup, and he's just watching this like, ew. And so I'm like, sorry. And then I don't know what to do because I'm holding this, and it's like a clear plastic cup. I'm holding this cup of just nastiness that I just coughed up, and I don't know what to do with it. So I just dump it in the turf grass. And then I'm like, oh, that was gross. And so then I start like rubbing this nastiness into the turf grass with my foot, and he's just standing there like it felt like it took 45 minutes. Like it just kept going. Like I felt like I was coughing forever, and then it took me so long to decide to pour the cup out. Wrong choice, by the way. I pour the cup, and then I'm like rubbing my nasty mucus nastiness into the turf grass for what felt like another 20 minutes. And so then I just turned to him and I go, sorry. And dude, the look on it, I couldn't possibly, like, even if we had video running for, I couldn't possibly replicate the face. It was half smile, half like empathetic sorrow. Like it was horrifying. It was so horrifying.
Oh my gosh. Just the mental image of him standing there just watching you go through this whole process of choking to spitting to dumping it out on turf to try to blend it into the turf is the funniest mental image.
And the other thing is there were so many like interactions you would have with people throughout the week. Like I didn't make a film, and I still feel like I met like 700 people, like, and so the way I was thinking about it was I was like, well, at least it stood out. I guarantee of all the interactions, all the hundreds of interactions he had that weekend, mine was at least one of the more memorable ones. So that is like my silver lining way I've tried to be okay with it. But dude, it was one of the most humiliating. And it was weird too, because like also it's in Texas, and so I'm like way more sweaty than normal. I just feel like a gross person. I'm sure like you, well, now you're in New York, so you don't probably experience that as much, but like when it's even slightly more humid, I just sweat 15 times more. I just feel disgusting. So I'm like talking to him like I'm gross already, and then I'm like choking and spitting up mucus and rubbing it into the turf grass. I'm like, this guy thinks I'm fucking like, what's the guy that lives in the trash can on Sesame Street? That's me.
Oh, Grouch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, is it Grouch? Yeah, Oscar. Wait.
Oscar.
Yeah.
Just
Oscar.
Grouch. He just goes by Grouch. Yeah, I'm Oscar the Grouch. I'm freaking the Grinch that stole the film fest.
No, you're oh, who's the mouth breather kid on Hey Arnold?
I'm that guy. I'm totally that guy. That was totally how it felt. Next to he's like, Zach is so cool. He's just such a cool. There's so many cool people there. I'd be like, I'm Shaffer. I also make videos.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Which is kind of just a fun backstory lore thing that you and I do. It's basically a hobby at this point. We just try to build up other people in our heads to be so much more than they actually are. Because it's kind of like
about the king of cool.
So, God, if you're listening to this right now, you already know Shaffer and I did mountain bike filming stuff for the last 5 years. And one of the things we always did was you film track walk. So before the mountain bikers go down this downhill racetrack, there's a day where they just walk it, look at the track, see how things are looking. So Shaffer and I's job that day was to walk the opposite direction as the athletes so we could catch a bunch of them, talk to them, interview them. And for some reason, it became like a hobby of ours because we're just hiking all day long. So it became a hobby of ours to like build backstories to everyone, to all of these Red Bull Monster athletes who are like already the coolest people in the world.
They don't need a backstory.
Yeah, they're superstars. They're literally living the rock star life, traveling the world, racing bikes, drinking champagne. And so we're building backstories on top of that. That's just this lore only in me and Shaffer's head. So that by time we talk to these people, one of those people in particular, we knew nothing about him other than the fact that he had a really smooth British accent and he was pretty like chill and low key. That's basically all we knew about him. But for some reason we started referring to him as the King of Cool. And so we'd see the King of Cool glistening in the sunlight up ahead of us and we'd be like, oh no, it's the King of Cool. Should we interview him?
Which, out of all the people on the track, like, probably the most approachable one, and yet we self-sabotage ourselves.
Yeah. So it just makes us that much more awkward because we have this not real lore in our head, which makes us that much more awkward and uncomfortable approaching the people. And
dude, just hearing you like lay that all out on the table, like saying it like it is, makes me realize we are two broken people.
Yeah, we sure are.
It would be horrifying, like just this nice guy, and he would always, anytime you talk to him, he'd go, "Hey boys," and then be so down to talk, and we'd just be like, how's the track looking?
God, you're cool. I mean, oh man. So I don't remember why I brought that up, but yeah.
Just because like with Zach, it was kind of the same. It's the same deal. Like both of us, like whether we're making those backstories with each other or just in general, we do the same thing.
Yeah, totally. I shouldn't even. Nah, I'm not gonna share it. Never mind.
Oh, give me a hint.
Okay, I'll share it.
Yeah,
I'll share it. No, I'm not sharing. I'm not sharing it.
No, what?
Not sharing it. Nope, not doing it.
What the?
That one's for the. Some things.
Does that make the
sometimes
list?
Sometimes inside thoughts are supposed to stay inside. You know.
Dude, I have not learned that. I have not learned that.
I know. It's dangerous when I'm just talking to you on a audio only call and I forget that I have a microphone in front of me.
Oh yeah. Wait, what was it? Okay, so that goes on the list with XLR microphone recorders. You don't
things I don't talk about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Exactly.
Oh,
exactly.
That just reminded me of the other two that I'm not supposed to talk about. Oh well.
Oh.
See, I can play that game too.
Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna ask you about him as soon as the mic's shut off.
Oh, hells yeah. Okay. Wow. We have really gotten to the bottom of things so far.
Wow. We sure have. I feel like I have another 2 hours worth of stuff to talk to you about.
I know. Thank God we're finally back to weekly Do you even call it uploads if it's audio only? Or do you call it streams?
Nope. We don't.
Oh. Got it.
Yeah, I guess if it wasn't obvious, we have switched to audio only.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's something we should quickly address. Maybe we should rationalize this for the audience.
Housekeeping.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go over some housekeeping.
Yeah.
Take it away, Shave.
Okay, we're gonna do a layup, okay?
Oh, okay.
Jake and I, this totally sounds like, I mean, I've never experienced this talk, but it sounds like the divorce talk. Jake and I decided together that we don't want to be on camera every week.
This is so the divorce talk is when you're like you and I are together, but we're telling our kids.
Yes, exactly.
That divorce talk.
Right,
okay, gotcha. Right. Yeah, okay.
We're still going to make podcasts. We're still going to make podcasts, but it's going to look a little different.
We're still going to be a family. Things are just going to change a little bit. You might not see us as much, but we still love you just the same.
Wow, that's pretty much it.
It's a really good analogy.
Yeah,
I also am probably just giving up being on camera entirely because, well, A, I'm going blind,
right.
And B, the result of that is the most swollen eyeballs at all times.
I'm looking at you in a FaceTime right now. I honestly can't tell. You just you got big, bright, beautiful eyes from here.
Well, you look like you're made of 6 different color pixels, so
nice.
It's hard to say.
Sounds like my internet.
Yeah.
I had some friends come over the other day, and they were like, I was like, let me show you a movie, and it had to buffer. And they're like, I haven't seen a buffering video in like years. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot other people don't live like this.
Yeah.
I'm living in 2012, baby.
You have been persistent.
And yeah, I mean, I'm just cheap, honestly. I have a Synology 60 terabyte RAID drive that in order to use, I have to plug into a Ethernet cable, but it's like not even worth doing because it's that slow. So it just sits on my desk and looks cool.
Oh no,
unusable.
Dang, I was about to ask you how life-changing that is because
it's the same.
But I guess it's not.
The same.
Damn.
I'm still on hard drive grind. I could take it over and set it up at the Blue House, and then I'd have to go over there. But that's almost just as prehistoric.
Wait, but when you hardwire Ethernet into it, it's not fast?
I just haven't done that yet because I got to run the cable all the way upstairs, and it's this whole thing. The router's upstairs.
The router. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Dang.
Anyway.
Yeah.
This has been Ethernet talk. But yeah. Yeah, I think I don't want this to sound like I'm that lazy. But the truth is, I just was getting really tired of setting up a camera. Because the podcast takes an hour, and the podcast is a pleasure. It's an absolute, I love it. But there's 30 minutes on either end of setting up the camera, setting up the lights, figuring out how to record audio because both of us pick a new way to do it every time we record. And then when you're done, you gotta turn it off, save the file, upload to the Google Drive, which because of my internet takes 20 hours. And so then I'll forget and I'll close the web page. Literally. And then I got to re-upload and then if I'm editing, I have to download Jake's footage. That takes a day. It just adds so much. And I think for me to be able to do it sustainably for now, basically it all comes down to me not having good internet.
Yeah.
I don't want internet,
and it's
though.
Not
I want real people live.
Yeah. It's not I mean, I appreciate you harboring so much blame with that, but it's certainly not that's why we stopped. I mean, it's been a year now, so who cares anymore? But there was a lot going on when we initially stopped.
Yeah.
And then, law of inertia, an object at rest stays at rest, baby.
Yeah.
And we were at rest for a good 399 days.
Yeah.
But,
it's just not even that's a good way to say it, but it's also not a good way to say it because it's crazy to think when we stopped, you hadn't officially even moved to New York yet. we still had
Yeah.
a scenario worked out with a company that was pretty sick. And then things change.
Yeah.
And a lot changed over the last year or so.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, a lot changed. I would say that was my catalyst, at least. I was traveling for the last time, was traveling in my van a lot before I moved to New York. And that was kind of my initial catalyst of like, it's going to be really hard to record podcast episodes when I'm in the van and all over the place. And then, a lot changed since
you
then.
You drove across the country like 3 times or something?
Yeah, because I drove over the long way through Detroit and Toronto to New York to look for a place to live, which, pro tip, if you ever need to move to New York, buy a van, live out of the van, and look for a place in New York, because that's the way to do it. You got all the time you need. You can go see all the apartments you need and sleep in your van while you look for a place to live. So I did that.
Or just no gig.
Yeah, or no me. And
that's it. End of thought.
Yeah. So then I found my apartment, and then I drove back to Denver to get all my stuff. And then I drove back to New York with all my stuff with my dad. And then my dad bought my van and he drove it back. So I guess that is three cross-country
Which is
trips.
Insane. Also, quick side note, like the Camp Film Fest, I feel like it was like, it's crazy how legendary that apartment has already become. I feel like it was, count the amount of times Jake's apartment pops up on screen. It was like in a bunch of like the ads, or like, I don't remember if one of the short films had a part that was in.
Yeah.
I just felt like I kept being like, that's Jake's apartment.
It was in, yeah, and it's in Mandelbrot's.
Yeah, that's right.
Short film.
I think there were like 3 or 4 distinct times I was like, that's Jake's house.
Yeah. Oh, dude, and fully random, but was so fun because I had no clue this was going to happen. The like opening trailer for Camp Film Fest, like the video that they would play to get everyone hyped for the day before playing the short films, was this sick little short created by Dodford. And they're talking about how the traditional industry is cooked and no one likes Marvel anymore, but there's a new generation. Yeah. And then it shows this sick shot of Natalie Lynn and then this sick shot of Cox. And then you see Shaffer skating across the Williamsburg Bridge, which was like the coolest feeling ever because I had no idea.
Dude, it was such a trip when I was like, what am I doing up there?
Yeah.
I'm the guy that thinks this is a cult. They should not be platforming people like me.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was awesome. That shot is pretty iconic, though. It was shot by this epic DP that lives in New York City. Named Drake Frew.
Man, we gotta do some more. I'm itching for some more parallax skating shots.
That's just so fun. We got to take it to the next level. I don't know how we're gonna level up from shooting it on 8K, but
oh yeah, wow, that's right.
We'll get that Ursa 17K camera that just came out.
Oh my gosh, seriously.
Then we can
do that infinite zoom.
Yeah. Yeah. I keep derailing this.
Like I said, I feel like I have so much we could talk about, which is great because we got a podcast to record. But how long are we at? Are we at an hour?
Probably.
Then maybe I'll avoid my topics and let's give the people what they're really here for.
Whoa.
Shaffer's pick of the week.
Oh my gosh, this has been a pretty Shaffer heavy episode. Just so everyone knows, I know I've been talking too much. I'm just excited.
I mean, that's what I'm here for. So
no, dude.
Sign me up.
Shoot, pick of the week. Oh my god.
I mean, you wrote a whole blog.
Yeah, I know, but that was picks of the month last month.
Oh, okay.
No, I'll
your
use
pick
one
of
of
the
those.
week can be your blog.
www.ashcroftcb.com. I will actually use one of the videos from my blog because you would appreciate it. We've actually had this conversation before. But there's this video that got uploaded by this really relatively small channel. I think they're actually quite small. They're like my channel size small. But that was a little bit of a self-deprecating joke. But anyway.
And unrealistic joke for the guy with 50,000 subscribers.
That gets 1,000 fucking views on his videos. Anyway.
Well.
That's okay. Anyway, this channel's called Documentary Forever. They made this video. When I found it, it only had 700 views, and the thumbnail was horrible. But I clicked on it for God knows what reason, and it is so good. It's called Dean's Last Ride, and it's about this guy who was a taxi driver in San Francisco, but he'd play saxophone while he was driving, and he was this legendary guy. But his whole world is being upended by Waymo, because because Waymo obviously is replacing taxi drivers. And so there's this underground rebellion of all these San Francisco taxi drivers who are it's just a crazy watch. It's a full on documentary. And they talk to, cause when Jake and I were in New York, we were looking at all the DoorDash guys on the scooters, and we were there is definitely a hierarchy of these guys. There's definitely the A-level superstar DoorDash guys that just it's kind of like when Fixed Gear was really big in New York, and it was this whole scene,
There has to be different neighborhood gangs of the delivery drivers.
Totally.
They totally have a uniform for sure.
And when you see a guy
wear
that
the
has
same
never,
helmet style.
Yeah, when you see the guy that's never been on that block picking up from that, you'd probably roll your eyes and this guy's a, so we're that definitely is. You just can't access it. It's right there, right in front of you, but you just can't access it. This is totally that, but taxi drivers. It's there's this whole underground network and world, and there's competition and all this stuff, and all of them, haven't necessarily, because taxi is anti-Uber, whatever. All of them are bonded over being anti-Waymo, and so it's kind of this moment where they all are fighting for the same cause, but it's through the eyes of the saxophone driving taxi guy who just isn't. He'll they pick people up and they'll be saying oh yeah, I just want to get some action tonight, and he'll drive them around and be hey, you want to have sex with this lady tonight? He's just a crazy guy, and yeah, it's an amazing watch. Very good. So it's called Dean's Last Ride. That's my pick of the week.
Dang, sick. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That
I'd also like to pick my own blog. If you want to read more about it.
Okay. www.ashcroftcb.com.
Right.
Dang. That reminds me of a really good story that I'm going to save. Tune in next week.
You've done that 15 times on this episode.
I have so much to say, and I'm not going to say any of it.
Dude.
Well, the other things were things I just couldn't talk about, but this one is such a good story that it can't be an end of episode story.
Please don't forget.
It's a full on topic. Okay, I'm gonna write it down in the show notes.
Okay,
Not the show notes, the shared notes.
Well, now that we don't record it, we call it something else.
Oh yeah, the stream notes.
Right. Right. We
got any apologies?
I am sorry I talk so much. I feel like I had a lot to get off my chest. And I also think Creator Camp just was like a pretty seismic event for me, because like just the whole thing, from not really thinking I was going, to the context I'd built for myself going into it, up until the Zach Shy thing and running into, there was just like a lot I feel like I had to say. So sorry to everyone that I talked so much on a podcast.
Dude, it's great. And also, thanks to everyone that pushed us to get back to the pod, because I think Creator Camp, like the people that came up to us and said, where is it?
Yeah.
Definitely helped push us to be like, all right.
Oh, people had like heartfelt stories. They were like, oh, it was like, you know, my escape from X, Y, and Z, you know? And I was like, yeah, we just kind of weren't feeling it.
Yeah.
You got any apologies?
What?
Do you have any apologies?
Oh. Yeah, I do. I'm sorry that I don't know how to use a Zoom audio recorder properly.
That's okay.
I'm sorry that we haven't posted a podcast in...
Oh, God. I'm scared to know.
Oh, man, it doesn't say. It doesn't say unless you have the app, and I don't have the app, but
No.
I'm sorry we haven't posted a podcast in over a year.
Yeah.
And finally, I'm sorry that I haven't eaten an Eggs Benedict in 399 days.
Dang, I haven't either, actually.
Yeah. Did you already apologize?
Yeah. I apologize for talking so much.
Oh, for talking too much. Oh, okay.
Right.
Nice.
That's mostly
Nice.
to you. I feel like I didn't let you get a dang word in.
Hey, no apologies needed. I got what I needed, which was to listen to you. And now I got a big old backlog of stories for next week.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for being here.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
Amen.